We shift up to 7th gear immediately, and Sebastian Vettel's gotten off to a really poor start, and so has Fernando Alonso for once. Fernando Alonso is the king of starts, and so is Freddie, to be fair. But goes to the side of him now. There he is, and we've actually almost made contact there, and we've actually made the move stick. What a fabulous move there. But now we're going to overtake Lewis Hamilton, who's going to be pitting in a couple of laps, Tom. Obviously, he's staying out a little bit longer. Lewis Hamilton, he just seems to be so good at looking after his tyres. Nico Rosberg's dropping back, and I can tell you guys that he actually retired from the Chinese Grand Prix the lap after he pitted. So that has opened up this race. But however, look at that. Hamilton has actually rejoined ahead of us here. So that is absolutely disastrous. But now Freddie's going to be quite vulnerable here because Magnussen and Alonso now have the DRS. Alonso's going to try and go up the inside here for 3rd place. It looks like he's backed out actually. So it looks like we have maintained 3rd position. But however, we do run wide. Will Alonso actually get a better run? Yes, he does. And Fernando Alonso actually passes here. But no, he maintained 4th position. What another crazy ending here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff once again. Hey guys, what is up? It is StopMatt1998 here, and I am back with a brand new video. This is part 24 of my F1 2014 Career Mode series, and here we are today for the Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. And obviously today's Grand Prix is a very important one because we need to try and gain back some of the ground that we lost to Lewis Hamilton in the last race at the Chinese Grand Prix. As you can see, we're currently in practice at the moment. I don't think we're actually going to set a time because I think we are planning on changing our engine. I think Freddie did intend on changing his engine last time out in China, but he did forget to do so. So we're going to change it now, and I think this will benefit us quite a lot because it should allow us to get maximum top speed on the straight. Because obviously straight line speed is quite important around Spain, because obviously overtaking is very difficult. And as you can see, it did also rain towards the end of the session as well, which is another reason why we didn't set any time in practice. But here we are in Q1 now on the prime tyres yet again. I think we may struggle in this session. I think Freddie was reporting back to his team that the traction was really non-existent in this car, really struggling for grip. The car is very slidey out of corners, you can see there, although that was really Freddie's fault for winding a little bit wide out of the final corner. We're going to come across the line to not set a very competitive time, a 26 dead. That's only 6 tenths quicker than Kobayashi, so I think we might even need to go out and set another time, but it doesn't seem as if we have to actually, because we're still sitting in P15 despite that really poor lap time. It was just a very quick lap from Kobayashi there, so really lucky in the end to end up in P15. But I think Q2 really will be a struggle, and I think getting past Q2 will be a challenge this weekend. As you can see, getting an awful amount of oversteer out of the exit of the final corner. As you can see now, overcast conditions actually, and obviously with overcast conditions, the track temperature will drop, and with that, the grip levels will also drop. So again, we're going to struggle even further. But now, as you can see, we set a 1 minute 24.8, but that is not good enough. We're going to set one more time now. This is the last time we can set, and we only set a 25.3, and that is not good enough. And we are out of Q2, so that is a very poor qualifying session there. But obviously, it is all to play for in the race. As you can see now, with the strategy, we're going to get the prime stint out of the way first, then we're going to be on the up hand for the final 2 stints with the option tyres. So that will hopefully work out, although it does kind of require us to get a decent start. Although, obviously, Spain is very notorious for its high tyre wear. Really, the tyre wear on this track is absolutely horrible normally. Hopefully it won't be the same in this Grand Prix. Let's hope that today's Grand Prix can be a good one. Let's go out on track. But as you can see there, Fernando Alonso, our teammate, sitting in third. Another very good qualifying for him. We're starting directly behind Sergio Perez and just behind Daniel Kvyat as the lights are about to go out here. And they are out now for the Spanish Grand Prix. And we seem to have gotten off to a pretty slow start. Much better than Perez. Kvyat's gotten off to an absolutely storming start, as you can see ahead there. Really quick off his grid spot there. But now we're going to go down the inside of all the cars here. We're going to try and pass as many people as possible. We just passed Perez there, although we are kind of being held up by Bottas, who seems to be parking his car on the inside, almost making contact with Perez. Perez has actually passed us here. And we're still in P13. We haven't actually gained any positions as such. As you can see just behind there, I think that was a Sauber of Gutierrez, who has obviously lost his front wing due to the realistic damage while I'm running that at the medium setting as we go down the inside of Bottas there. Going very slowly for some reason, braking incredibly early was Bottas. But now we've got Perez still there. Perez being extremely aggressive at the start here. Now going down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo for P10, although Perez is still there yet again. Perez, I don't know what's up with him in this Grand Prix, being very feisty, and it's really good to see that the AI can be feisty at times. Just a shame that it's not like that all the time. And as you can see, we have finally gotten ahead of Sergio Perez. And yeah, overall a pretty good start. And now we've got Felipe Massa ahead of us, who I think we should be able to pass. But what we've got to do now, obviously, keep the gap, keep a steady gap to Felipe Massa. We don't want to fall away from him, to obviously affect us later on in the Grand Prix. But as you can see, there's been contact ahead between, I believe that's Kvyat and Kevin Magnussen. I'm not quite sure who's lost their front wing. As you can see, Perez again overtake us. He's actually going to pass Felipe Massa as well. I don't know what Perez is on this race. Is he on steroids or something? I have no idea. But now we've actually retaken the position from Perez. We've actually overtaken Felipe Massa as well, who was held up by Kevin Magnussen. You can see on the replay here us passing Perez and Massa, and also Bottas there just behind, catching up. And obviously Magnussen was the guy who lost us from him, just getting a bit desperate to pass Daniel Kvyat, I suppose, going down to turn 1, because Kvyat got off to a really storming start. He got a really good launch of his grid spot. He actually did only start one position ahead of Freddie, remember, in 12th place. And he got that really good start, and obviously down to turn 1 he managed to gain quite a few positions as well. Now skipping on to lap 8, Kvyat was storming away on the options. He had really good pace in this first stint. He was no match for ourselves. He pulled away by about 5 seconds. And also up front, Alonso was actually leading the Grand Prix. However, he did lose the lead to Nico Rosberg. Nico Rosberg started streaking clear. And currently our championship rivals, Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's currently in 5th, and Daniel Ricciardo is actually outside of the points, which is interesting to say the least. But now we're coming into the pits now. All the AI cars obviously already pitted, as they were on the option tyres in this first stint. Obviously we're on the prime, so we're pitting now for the option tyres. So we're going to go about 9 laps until about lap 22. I think that's our intended pit stop lap, although we might go 1 lap longer just to ensure that the tyres don't go off the cliff at the end of the Grand Prix. We've actually rejoined behind Daniel Kvyat, although we do seem to have gained quite a lot of time on the Toro Rosso driver. So we did do some pretty good in-laps, obviously, and we've actually maintained the position to Perez. Once again, Perez was still there at the end of that stint, but now, as you can see, now we've got Kvyat within striking distance. He's less than half a second behind here. And obviously, in this stint, we've got Rosberg, Alonso and Hülkenberg on the option tyres, and we've got everybody else on the prime tyres in the top 10, including Daniel Kvyat, obviously, and that's why we caught him up so quickly. Actually, only a lap after we pitted, really. But we're going to open up the DRS now. We're going to try and overtake Kvyat round the outside, actually. He does seem to be defending the inside. And yes, we have overtaken him round the outside there. A beautiful move there from Freddie once again. And as you can see on the replay, a fantastic move there. Just look at the speed difference there between Freddie and Kvyat. Huge difference there. But now, skimming on to lap 19, we were catching up Hülkenberg, Alonso and actually Lewis Hamilton, who was really struggling this middle stint for some reason. Obviously, he was on the prime tyres, whilst Alonso and Hülkenberg were on the options. So that might have been one. Also, he didn't get off the best start either. I believe Hamilton actually started on pole position as well. So that was strange. And yeah, now on lap 22, we can see some other guys pitting in for their final pit stops. I believe they're the guys that are going on to the prime tyres. Now, skipping on to lap 23, our tyres were absolutely gone at this point. And Rosberg, who's just ahead of us, 6.8 seconds ahead, has actually already made his second and final pit stop, which really shows the pace difference between Freddie and Nico Rosberg in this Spanish Grand Prix. Obviously, Nico Rosberg is looking to gain back the points he lost last time out in China, and obviously Bahrain as well, retiring from both those Grand Prix. But in this particular Grand Prix, ever since Rosberg passed Fernando Alonso's pace has been absolutely blistering. He's really stormed away at the front, and I believe he has set the fastest lap, possibly looking to beat that in this final stint on the option tyres. But it looks as if Hülkenberg's actually rejoined ahead of us, which is not really what we wanted, but I believe the gap is sort of the same as it was before, so we haven't really lost any time to Nico Hülkenberg. But if we want to catch up with Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, who are just ahead of Hülkenberg, although I say that, they're quite a few seconds ahead, but we've got to overtake Hülkenberg here on the back straight, on the pit straight in fact. We've opened up the DRS and we've actually breezed past Hülkenberg there. A really easy move. You can see on the replay here, really just breezed past. I think our straight line speed was just too much there for Nico Hülkenberg. We're actually running quite low front aero for this Grand Prix, which is kind of, you might think that's a bit silly, because perhaps Spain is more suited to higher front aero setups, but not in this particular Grand Prix I've found, especially in qualifying. I don't think we were really suffering with understeer as much. It was more oversteer, if anything. But anyway, you can see there we just lapped to Marussia, but in the last couple of laps we have been closing in on Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso. Obviously Jenson Button running incredibly well in this Grand Prix, a complete contrast to his previous race. I believe Jenson Button is only currently sitting on 2 points in the Drivers' Championship, so this will really help his cause if he does want to get a higher position in the World Championship. But as you can see now, the gap to Jenson Button is now 2.4 seconds with 2 laps to go. Let's just hope the tyres don't go away from us, so I can I think Freddie was beginning to feel at this point that the tyres were beginning to slightly go, although he did have the pace over the guys ahead at the moment. As you can see Maldonado doing his absolute best there to try and get in our way, but Button there is definitely within striking distance. You can see him on the track just ahead of us. And about a second in front of him is our teammate Fernando Alonso. It's kind of a shame to see really that his home Grand Prix has dropped back quite a lot from the beginning of the Grand Prix. We are actually having to save fuel now as we are currently -1 lap down. So our engineer there trying to give us a confidence boost, but the thing is Freddie is beginning to lose grip very quickly in these overcast conditions. He lost the temperature ejector button in that middle section. That really just shows that I think our tyres are gone. I just don't think we can really do anything. As you can see, our fuel situation is still pretty bad, although it has now changed to optimal. So that is pretty good. So I think really in this Grand Prix, I think the tyres just went off at the wrong time. And perhaps you could argue that pitting on lap 22 instead of lap 23 could have perhaps let us overtake Button and Alonso before our tyres went off. Maybe that could have worked, although I think on the last lap our tyres would have been absolutely dead anyway, so I think Alonso and Button probably would have gone straight past us, as our car would have been absolutely undrivable. But anyway, we're going to come around the final corner now, struggling there with a bit of oversteer. So come around the final corner now, Nico Rosberg's won the Grand Prix. We're going to come home in 6th place after starting in 13th position. Overall, a pretty exciting race, not the most exciting Grand Prix of the season, but nevertheless a very good Grand Prix. 6th place for ourselves, and Fernando Alonso finished in 4th. Shame for him really in his home Grand Prix after he was running first. Yeah, he was running in first earlier on in the Grand Prix. But as you can see there, Nico Rosberg obviously gaining back the ground he lost in China and Bahrain. Vettel coming through in 2nd for Red Bull, and obviously Hamilton in 3rd. In the Drivers' Championship, we dropped back. We are 36 points behind Hamilton. Will anybody be able to stop Hamilton in the next Grand Prix in Monaco? We will have to wait and see. Guys, I've got 2 questions for you to answer, or to leave your thoughts down in the comment section. Basically, do you want me to do a 100% Monaco Grand Prix, and do you think that perhaps pitting a lap earlier for our final pit stop would have allowed us to overtake Button and Alonso before the tyres went off? But anyway guys, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to give a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.